Brothers and sisters, Mrs. and Misters, the Dented Cast is on cyberspace. This is Dobie Maxwell along with Max Baumgartner.
Howdy.
Where were you, Max, at the lowest point of your life? Do you remember that? It's hard to remember sometimes.
Well, I do remember that. There's been a couple times where I felt equally low.
What was the? Give us both.
One was as a child when the bottom fell out of my parents' marriage and we didn't have any place to go.
Okay.
The other was when I was married and I felt like I'd been a really crappy human being and needed to change, and so I did. So about lost my wife and kids.
So you remember where you were? You remember when it was?
Yeah, sure. How about you?
I was right here on this spot in downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin, my hometown, on the corner of Water and Wisconsin. It was May 3rd. You can come on across. This is worldwide television. Very important. Thank you. You're on TV in 37 countries. We appreciate you. And I was right here on this spot on May 3rd, 1991, as my very best friend, my whole life, was standing. I was standing here watching him rob what used to be a bank across the street. And it was the first financial bank. I was at the lowest point in my life. I had just been in a car accident. My sternum was broken. I could barely walk. I had no car. I had no money, no place to live. My best friend decided he was going to rob that bank that he used to work at, not once, but for the second time. And he wanted me to be right here and to watch him do it because he had a quote-unquote really funny plan. You wouldn't believe it. And I had no idea what he was going to do. And it turns out what he did was he dressed in a gorilla mask, and he had helium balloons and a tuxedo. And there was a guy that was a gorilla. He was the head of security across at that bank. And he didn't tell me what he was going to do. And as he came around the bank, I knew it was him. Max, it was broad daylight, exactly like this. It was 8:30 in the morning. There were hundreds of people. This is a Saturday afternoon as we record this. There's only a few people. It was packed as a downtown in any city would be. And he gave a kid a balloon. And I looked at him the second I saw him in that gorilla suit. I thought, this is either the most brilliant scheme I've ever seen in my entire life or the stupidest. There is no in between. It is brilliant, or it is, and it turns out he got in the bank and he got away with it. And that's so outlandish and hard to believe. I know you wrote a book about it. We'll talk about that here in a minute, called Monkey in the Middle. But so you were standing here on this spot right here at 8:30. I already, you break your sternum, that gets your attention. And it's the hardest bone in your body to break. I broke mine twice, and it's like having the suspension system in your car not work. I had to walk literally like an old man. That's the best I could do. So it took me probably from where he parked the car a block away, probably 45 minutes to get to this point, and I was winded because I hadn't been walking in a couple of weeks. So I was standing here, winded, wondering what he was going to do, and people say, well, why did you let your friend rob a bank? It's like, well, he was my best friend. He was a thrill seeker. He decided he loved crotch rocket motorcycles. He loved skydiving, anything with a thrill. And he said robbing the bank the first time was the biggest thrill that I ever had. And I thought, wow. He goes, you go on stage, you're a comedian, you're on the radio. He goes, that's your thing. My thing is robbing banks. I love thinking about it. I love doing it. I love executing it. And this is something he wanted to get back at the manager of the bank that fired all his staff and put together the $6 an hour rent-a-cops. And he said he was going to show that bank manager. I said, well, isn't robbing the bank the first time? Showing the man? Nope, I got to do something else. So he took the idea from the Gorillagram, and he said, if I get in the bank, I'll be okay. And sure enough, as I stood here, and at the time I was promoting You can go right ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's only a worldwide broadcast we're doing here. It's fine. We're absolutely great. You're beautiful. Yeah. So to make a long story longer, like I usually do, I'm standing here, and I used to pro wrestling matches, and I'm shaking, and I'm what's going to happen here. And a woman that was one of my ring girls that I had the hots for, Twistin' Kristen. I don't know her. Yeah. She was a sweetheart. She really got it. She was a sex pot that was in our wrestling matches, and she worked downtown. So I'm standing here, and Dobie Maxwell, is that you? And, the last place I want to get recognized. What are you doing here? I read you had a car accident. It was in the paper. Yeah, I'm kind of out for a walk, and I'm looking across because I don't know when my friend is going to rob the bank. Why are you watching that bank? Don't you think I'm pretty? Oh, I think you're gorgeous. And she thought I was blowing her off. So now in my head, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I've been spotted at the scene of the crime before it happens. The first time, he didn't tell me he robbed the bank until almost a year after. Same place, 2 years before this one. Now I'm thinking, what am I going to do? And sure enough, he shows up, and the rent-a-cop comes out and lets him in with the balloons, and it was just surreal. I stood here for probably 2 to 3 minutes, and it was a big deal to walk across that street, so I did, and I looked inside, and there was no shooting going on. So I'm thinking, well, I got to go home. So about 2 blocks up, there's a bus stop. So I could barely walk. I got to the bus stop. There was no cell phones then. I couldn't text them. I got all the way home, and it got to be the noon news. 12 o'clock news came on and said, a man in a gorilla mask robbed a downtown bank today, and they described this bank, and they described how it happened, and to watch it on TV, and it's so surreal. And at the end of the report, they said, suspect is still at large. Now, while I was here waiting for the bus, I turned around to see if the bus was coming. I counted 5 unmarked police cars that drove up to the bank with sirens blaring. Cops got out, guns drawn to go in the bank. Now, this time I'm thinking, my best friend in my whole life is going to be shot dead. He thinks and he was a smart ass and a thrill seeker and all those things, but it's like, he doesn't deserve to get shot. And it didn't happen, and one thing led to another, and he got away with it.
Okay, so many questions.
Yeah,
okay?
I know people do. Yeah,
he
go right
he
ahead.
got away with it, but he also did time for it.
He did time. I had to testify in federal court, which is about 3 blocks from here. I had to wear a wire in a restaurant just a few blocks away to get him to confess that he did it. He did 6.5 years for the first bank robbery. They didn't prosecute him for the gorilla one.
Okay. So this was a different one.
This was a freebie.
So the question I have is, you just came back from basically almost dying.
Yes.
And that was also a time when your mother was going to come and see you. You can watch the Mother episode from Mother's Day where he tells the story about when he was in the car wreck.
Yeah.
And another beautiful time. So anyway, why were you here in the first place?
You know what? He came and got me. He was, like you, a landlord. And he bought the no money down rental properties systems off TV.
That's not a good plan, by the way. Don't do that.
He did it. And I was living in one of his places because I was on the road as a comedian the whole time. And he said, I'm going to rob the bank again. And I couldn't. I said, you're going to what? He came over and said, we want to go out to breakfast. Okay, I wanted to go out for breakfast. I didn't have a car. I'm living in one of his houses. Come on out. You're good. Come on along. It's okay. It's only the most important broadcast of our lives. It's all right. We'll see the back of your heads. You're beautiful people. Thank you, guys. So he said, let's go out to breakfast. So as we're in the car, he said, I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm going to rob the bank again, meaning this one. And you're going to what? He goes, here's what I want you to do. I said, no, here's what I want you to do. Turn the car around.
Right.
Drop me off at home.
Right.
Lake Michigan is about 3 blocks that way. I want you to drive your car in until your hat floats. He goes, look, I'm going to do this whether or not you approve. He goes, this is all I ever think about. I love to do it. He goes, I'll drop you off, but I'm still going to do it. All I'm asking you is to stand here at this spot, and I want you to watch me go in. And if I get caught, which I don't think I will, but if I do, I want you to get in a taxi, go to my mom, you know where she lives. She's always trusted you. She always liked you. I want you to tell her that her son got caught robbing a bank. Because if the cops go up, or the FBI, whoever it is, she'll have a heart attack and die. She won't be able to take it. I said, why don't we do this? Why don't you not rob the bank at all?
Yeah, right.
And we won't have to worry about this. He goes, my mind's made up. So I said, is this going to make you happy? And he said, yes. I'm asking one favor. And then he put, well, I did you all these favors, and I let you live in my house for cheap rent, and I came and picked you up. And
so you were here just as support.
Yeah.
Or was he trying to show something to you?
I think he was proud of it.
It just seems all weird.
It does seem weird to
me.
me.
It seems like there's pieces missing, you know?
This piece is missing, too. This is years ago that it happened, and I still, as I think about this when I'm not here, now I'm actually on the spot. Why did he want me standing here?
Well,
did he want to show off?
That's what I'm thinking in 2021. I don't get it.
Did he want me to be there with him, to support him in doing it? I felt stupid being here. I felt, I knew it was a crime. The first one I didn't know about. I didn't find out until after the fact. There he is now.
Yeah, right.
He's on a report. It's like, stop that guy. So I don't know why he wanted it. I think he was just kind of showing off.
Wow.
There was something weird that he.
Have you spent your part of the money yet, or do you still have it?
Actually, I bought you that shirt. That's all I had left. And everybody thinks, people joke around and say, what did you do with the money? I do stupid things, but I know bank robbery is wrong and a crime, and if you get caught, you go to prison. I know that. I don't know a lot of other things, but that I know. I am not willing to go through that chance. I don't care how much money there is. He got $36,000 for the second one. He got 100 and...
Doesn't seem worth it. Not for 6 years.
No, I said you could have managed. And the first one he got at 105, and 36 is 141,000 for 2 bank robberies, and he did 6.5 years. Do the math. You could manage a Taco Bell and make more money.
Way more.
Probably
in fact, they're offering a retirement plan and a
Meals.
sign-on bonus.
I don't know how the meals were for 6.5 years in a federal
Oh my
penitentiary.
gosh! Wow.
And I don't know why that was appealing to him, but he said he enjoyed it. He enjoyed the process. It was a thrill for him. Now, he's a dented can too. Obviously, we grew up together. We met when we were 11 years old, and we stayed in contact. All the coming of age things, driver's license, going through all that kind of stuff. Went to ball games, watched Packer games together. But I knew when he turned to crime that this is where we don't have a spot, and it still pains me because there was a part of me that he was closer than my physical brothers, and I love them in a lot of ways, but I'm not going to follow in that. So
Right.
what do you do?
Well, you go do comedy gigs all over the country in a shitbox car for not a lot of money, and
But it was honest.
Avoid it. Yes,
It
I
was
know.
honest. Now,
I
we are
know.
the Dented Cast. We're going to pause right here. If you like us, come on.
on
We got
through.
some nice people walking down
Nice
here. So no, it's all good.
Consider it. Don't worry
This is
about
the
it.
biggest broadcast in cable TV history. We're glad you're part of it.
Countries right now. Yeah.
We'll have you sign a release a little bit. Okay, thank you. If you like what we're doing, please like it. We're here to heal. Maybe you have something in your life that needs healing. This is good for me. Thanks for being here, Max. More to come. The Dented Cast is for you.